Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
Hello and welcome to Going Rogue Explosion Network's after show where we break down and discuss each and every episode of Andor Season 2, the Star Wars original Disney Plus series. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be back rebelling.
I'm always rebelling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look both ways before I cross the street. I do all sorts of stuff. Don't test me.
Really impacting people.
Yeah. Of course, we're here to discuss the 3 episodes of premiere of Andor Season 2. Before we get into actual thoughts on the episode, I just want to say this. That was 3 hours, basically.
2 hours and 2.5 hours, I'd say.
It was a movie.
It was pretty lengthy.
I'm going to put it out there straight away. If that's the way we're rolling for the next 3 weeks as they do 3 episode things, I'm sure it's all going to be good. My thoughts on this are good. However, as far as like podcast content goes, I wish it was week by week.
Yeah, as a viewer who's really enjoying Andor, I'm very happy that I'm getting 3 hits of that drug every week. But yes, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to
I cannot
differentiate between the episodes.
Yeah. I finished the first episode and I was having a thought like, can we discuss each one? No, there's no way to really make that happen. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to like,
maybe, unless we like time up our watches.
Yeah, but it's just so hard.
We watch at the same time and like, then have a discussion between.
Yeah, it's just that is my biggest complaint of this 3 episodes is solely from the point of view of people wanting to discuss it. But I'm just disappointed that some stuff's going to get lost in the weeds because we're going to talk about all 3 episodes in one thing. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. All right, but Andor's back. It's been about 3 years, nearly 3 years since.
Let's have a look. Andor, the last episode of Andor came out November 23rd, 2022. It's about 2.5.
Yeah. 2.5 hours, 2.5 years, you know. Same different. Show picks up about a year later in its premiere.
I mean, the first episode's literally called 1 year later.
Do you?
So you don't even know what the episode names are because
who cares? You know what I mean? It's just one thing. Who cares? What did you think of the like? We're not breaking it down one by one. It's just not going to happen. What did you make of part 1?
Yeah, I mean, really good, high quality stuff. Like it's more Andor. As people who followed kind of the news around the show, we've kind of knew it was kind of going to be much like the first season, like a couple of separate missions, and that's going to be it. So this 3, I had a feeling. Well, I think we all expected this 3 episode arc would like all tie in together, and it very much was that case. And we'll probably get a time jump again next week. But yeah, I mean, it was great seeing all the characters again and seeing aspects of Star Wars that we have not seen before, like a fucking wedding, and how do you hold one of those in the Star Wars universe?
With some sick tunes.
Yeah, so it turns out there actually is some good dance music in the Star Wars.
There you go.
You know, and yeah, there's also darker stuff that happens in the Star Wars universe that I don't think I've ever seen before. Yeah, just and weirdly, there's a very timely story happening in these episodes that were probably written several years ago.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, before we start going further, do you feel like you notice in the 3 episodes and knowing that I think there's supposed to be a time jump every 3 episodes, like that's been, I think, confirmed that's what we're doing. Do you feel like it would have been like how many seasons are originally planned this as? What, 3, 4, 5? Like, do you feel like we're getting the short end of the stick here.
I mean, when they said, "Oh, we've got 5 seasons planned, and now we're only getting 2," yes, it does feel like we're in the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as much quality content that we can get out of this as we can,
Yeah.
we'll just take it.
Yeah, look, obviously I loved it. Andor is the Star Wars show. It's the best Star Wars show we've had by far. Arguably some of the best Star Wars stuff we've had in the last 10 years, full stop. And I don't think I've seen anything to say that that's not going to be season 2 is not going to deliver on the level of quality we got in season 1. The best TV show of 2022 as awarded by ExplosionNetwork.com.
Wow, yeah.
Did
Those
you know
guys,
that?
they
Do
must
you
know what
remember?
they're talking about.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
This is weirdly the most universally beloved piece of Star Wars content, which is
Here's the thing. People
currently.
who watch it universally love it, but I don't think enough people watched it.
good, because then there can't be any haters.
It's true.
Not that there could be.
Everyone I work with who's watched Mandalorian, Ahsoka, whatever the rest of the series, haven't watched this.
Which is
Now, they're
crazy.
part of the problem. 100%. But, like, it must be that, like, it's that.
They're lucky. They've got this to look
rebellion,
forward to
don't
it someday.
care. Yeah, well. I was saying today how
Experience
excited I was.
fresh.
So excited I was to go home today and experience some good Star Wars for once. And, oh, yeah, I should watch that, eh?
To be fair, we just came off Skeleton Key, was the last series that we talked about. That was very enjoyable.
Completely forgot about it.
Before that, we watched The Acolyte, which we enjoyed.
We did
If
enjoy
nobody
it,
else
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch was
Fine.
fine. And then, it was Ahsoka that was the
I'm
last
talking
thing.
about the
that
live action shows. Like the most popular ones, let's clarify. The most popular ones, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, all driven by, their popularity is driven off the nostalgia factor.
Yes.
And this show doesn't dive into that.
No, because Rogue One is not old enough to have a nostalgia factor.
All right, so it's really good. Let's attempt to make some sense there. So it's a year later. The first episode sort of covers Cassian, who's on a mission. We don't really know what it is at the start, but he's stealing a TIE. I don't know, Avenger. I think
Some
it's
sort
hold
of
on.
TIE, some experimental TIE fighter.
I'm googling that to see if that's. Hold on, TIE Avenger. Yes, that's what it's called. TIE Avenger, right? Which is an experimental TIE fighter that is mentioned in the. I think it's in Legends, but I don't think it's ever in. Anyway, who knows? I've only just finished it. I haven't had time to look this shit up. Yeah, so he's like trying to steal that from like a test facility. The Empire's always working on different sorts of TIE fighters. That's sort of a known thing, Interceptor and whatnot. That they introduce as the series goes on, and they especially introduce in more of the spin-off materials and whatever else. So he's stealing that. Obviously, so the rebellion can have, I guess, study it and like understand what they're doing, or work out what's going on there. Steals it in a great way to start the show. A much more action-packed start to the show than I would have thought. Because season 1, sort of a slow burn start until like a big payoff. This season, just start to it bang. But I love the whole like the speech he gave to that woman.
Yes,
who's
you can see
helping the Red Alliance
that
and
Luther has had a very big impact, on his psyche and the way he talks.
That speech is more. We're now more in line with Cassian in Rogue One.
Yes,
as far as the way he's talking about rebellion and choices and stuff like that. So, but yeah, doesn't know how to drive the thing. Makes for a very funny and exhilarating opening scene where he crashes
Wikipedia
it
saying
into
it's
everything.
a TIE Avenger.
Yeah, see, I was right. Why do you doubt me?
Or Advanced version 1. Those were
know.
the 2 ships. So
yeah,
Avenger. That doesn't look like what the ship. So
takes off, goes to the planet, which we find out in episode at the end of episode 2.
Doesn't take off.
Well, crashes into everything.
Crashes it. It would have been like one of us flying the TIE fighter for the first time. The controls apparently were not what he was expecting at all or planned for. And that was the most amusing opening, but most action-packed opening to a show that I could recall. Him blasting a hole through the, I don't know, whatever ship. No, it was some sort of base. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. That was really, really good.
And just bouncing off every single canyon.
It's a sturdy ship.
It is a sturdy ship, at least.
Is what we've proven.
You take a beating. He takes a lot of shots over these couple of episodes.
He does. That thing takes Stormtroopers only hit something that big. Is the big enough target that they can manage to hit it. So he. I'll jump around characters later, but I think it's probably easier just to cover 3 episodes if we
just
sort
go
of
through storylines. Yep.
Yeah, storylines probably the easiest thing. Goes to a planet where he's supposed to meet up with another pilot, presumably so they can take it to wherever the hell they're supposed to be taking it and whatnot and trade off. Gets there. Now, the planet we find out at the end of episode 2 is actually Yavin 4. Is the reveal there? What will become the rebel base as of a couple of years from now when we get to A New Hope timeline.
Interesting.
Before, did you not notice that?
I did not. I just
they literally
they
have that shot. They hang on the pyramids to show you. That's the big reveal. You know?
I don't know how many planets in Star Wars have pyramids.
Plenty, but not like that. So this storyline. Now I've got my theory of what the point of it was. What do you think the point of this storyline where he lands, the person he's supposed to meet isn't there? It's another group of rebels, however, not the group of rebels he's supposed to be meeting with. They're asking who he's fighting with. He's saying he can't tell them. They're not telling him anything. Back and forth. They only end up shooting at each other. It's an absolute shit show. They play rock, paper, scissors at one point. Cassian escapes. Like, what did you make?
I mean, that is the key. It's to show that the rebellion is a shit show where there's so many different factions, so many different sides, all have a similar goal but aren't communicating in any sort of way.
Yeah, that's what I took it as. I think it's without I don't think you're supposed to overthink it. Like if you explain it or think about it, it's just like, well, this 2 different rebellion sides in this absolute shit show, and they're not talking to each other. It's like, yeah, I think that's the point. I think that's literally the point.
Yeah.
Especially when the coin flip is in the same episode, we're seeing how much more organized the Empire is actually at this point in time, at least. I mean, the plans that they're making. But yeah, the Rebel Alliance currently shit show. Everyone's working in the shadows. There's not one, and I think the other important thing is there's not one leader. There's not one set leader of the group at this time time and point that people can all say we're all working for this person, under that person.
Well, they do say they're working for somebody, but
they're working for somebody. Cassian's working for somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
At the same time, we have the group of Rebels characters from Star Wars Rebels. They're working for themselves, more or less. Even that show has in its last couple seasons, which is taking place
simultaneously,
simultaneously, sort of thing. In that show, they actually dedicate a lot of episodes in the final season to stories similar to this, to showing how unorganized and the different groups and how they eventually all start coming together, and they have to come together to achieve anything, sort of thing. You've got Saw Gerrera over here doing his fucking
extremist stuff.
So, I think that's what the point of it was, and I enjoyed it for that. I think if that's what the point was, that's what I got out of it. So,
I think that's exactly what it was.
Like
and
that moment,
also just a weird survival, I guess, kind of thing of these 2 factions. I guess within even these 2 factions between the people working under somebody couldn't agree what to do.
Yep.
No chain of command.
And Cassian at one point is like, "Who's in charge here?"
Yeah,
they don't know who's in charge. He doesn't know who's in charge. He's picking people. They shoot the person who may be in charge. The person who could fly them out.
Yeah.
The woman
who could have flown them out.
Yeah. Shoot her
only
first.
Other person with aviation skills.
Yep.
Dumb. Yeah. I don't know how they could have worked out this situation other than trusting Cassian. Do you know what I mean? Because either he was going to fly it or they're all going to die.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything more to read into the it's on Yavin 4 thing other than it being sort of I sort of took it as we've had an episode and a half showing complete dysfunction happening here. And I think the Yavin 4 thing is solely just a little on the nose thing of this is where it all comes together though. I think that's how I took that as.
Yep.
Like, I don't think there's anything more to that either.
No. But also Yavin 4 is apparently covered in giant creatures. So and disgusting looking coconuts.
Yeah. We never we never seen anyone go walking around there, so
well, maybe that's why they just assume they're not on Yavin 4.
Those people on those towers watching the ships with their little scanny things going out are actually out there watching for monsters. That's what this whole time we've had it wrong.
We assume they were trying to watch out for the Empire.
Watching for Empire and stuff. Nope, they're watching for freaking pterodactyls out there and whatever the hell is going on. Or just
fucking monster rhinoceri.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
There you go. So then Cassian. Well, I guess we'll tie him in when we
Cassian wants to go home.
Yeah.
And we'll get
Cassian
to that.
wants to go home. And that will tie
because
the
whole thing's been a shit show.
Yeah. Let's go to on the other side of the coin, I guess. So episode 1, we do see Ben Mendelsohn or Krennic make an appearance in a fantastic scene. I loved it. Very Nazi boardroom meeting.
I mean, not that there hadn't been Nazi boardroom meetings in the first season.
No, but I like when people, and I think Tony Gilroy's one of them, I like when people do Star Wars and know the Empire's Nazis and they're not afraid to do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, like, I know how I view these characters and people, and that's what I'm doing here. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I should have taken notes. He calls it the Empire's energy efficiency scheme or something like that, which is the most dumb sounding thing that ever. That's definitely just not another name for the Death Star is what I think that is. Because it's still a secret sort of mission thing that's happening at this point, but I think energy scheme thing. And we got a whole boardroom people he's talking to. Of course, one of them's Dedra, who we'll get to in a second, but basically lays out that on some planet which has spiders, there is in its surface a high mineral energy source that they need for their project. And more or less puts the question forth to this select group of people of how do we make this work? Because I'm going to want to destroy planet, basically.
Yeah. How do we
the
take
people
this
that live
land
there
from these people?
Yeah, pretty much. How do we take the land from these people without having too much trouble? Because there's probably going to be an uprising. Let's throw some ideas around the room. Essentially, they've even got tea, biscuits, and cake.
Yep. They've done studies. They've done project groups.
They have a fucking PR group in there.
Yes.
They stand up and do the whole asshole thing of like, we're the guys that done the thing. You heard about that thing down at that other place where you thought it was this?
Hey,
that was us.
You know how you're kind of racist about these people?
Yeah.
We invented that.
We invented that racism.
It's can't we cause some sort of natural disaster like hoax? Nah, we've already checked that. You know, it gets pretty unpredictable. The testing. Fucking terrible.
Dedra's little thing though, apparently she gets a one-on-one quick conversation with Ben Bloody Mendelsohn.
Ben Bloody Mendelsohn, mate. How you going?
You wouldn't lie to me, would you, mate?
Yeah. You wouldn't tell me what a plan in when I finish the sentence, wouldn't you, mate?
You wouldn't keep what you're thinking about the plan inside, would you, Dedra? You'd tell me what you're thinking, wouldn't you, Dedra? You would tell me, wouldn't you, mate? Wouldn't lie to me, would you, Dedra? Dedra's plan is more or less implied to be that to get the best result is more or less like start a rebel alliance that they can use to spark their own like reason for striking it down. More or less is what I think that was supposed to be.
Or like even having their own rebel group within whatever planet it's called.
Like if they have cores, like it's like planting the cocaine on someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need probable cause to do what they need to do without too much uproar, and to do that, they would need to implant their own sort of either implant or let rebels, I guess, go free for a while, and then use that while tracking them, while having an eye on them, and then use that to turn around what we're going to do. And the sad part is, it's a good idea. You know, like, that's the worst part.
It's like we're going to use the rebels' plan against them, kind of.
She doesn't want to do it, though, is the interesting thing. She's happy working where she is.
I wonder why.
Yeah. She's happy working with Loverboy. But then there's that little conversation she has with I can't remember the character's name. Her boss, basically.
Her boss, the old mate.
The dude from Game of Thrones, the Quirum, or whatever his name is, Qyburn. What's his name? Actor's name? Anton Lesser. Character name, Major Patagas. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you've already had the conversation with Krennic. It's done. It's happening. You know, like, as in, you're having no choice. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, Krennic has made the choice for you. You're doing this. It's basically, yep, it's done. Then we sort of, I think it's in episode 3. Again, this is all blown together now. Is it episode 3 too? Who knows?
Episode 2, we find out that, Cyril and Deidre are together. You know, fascists finding love in the galaxy. What are you going to do? So romantic. Their pristine monochrome apartment.
Yep. Where she's picking between, should I wear this terribly boring white dress or this terribly boring black dress?
Yeah.
And I'll practice my smile.
Yeah. How did you realize the first episode what they were talking about? In the second episode, they're like, "Oh, we can't. You know, if we went shopping, I thought I'd put it off. We can't delay it again."
Oh, for his mum.
Yeah.
No, I didn't put it together. To be honest,
I was like, no, they're talking about her mum.
No, I didn't. I put it together. I had no idea who was coming for dinner until he opened the door. Actually, to be honest, I was expecting some, I don't know, Imperial or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, that dinner scene with the mum, quite funny. It's sort of funny because, like, we don't like him, so seeing someone make fun of him is sort of fun. Yep. To be honest. But at the same time, we get this scene where Deidre shuts down his mum and says, I'll make sure he calls you twice a week. You'll get to see him 3 times this. He'll always care for you. But if you want that to happen, shut the fuck up and play ball. Tell your son he's a good boy. Tell him he's doing good at his job. Yeah? Thank you. Yeah.
That's what you want in a partner. Someone to, fight your battles for you.
Yep. Because up until then, he was doing the, oh, mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
Because
she
like
destroys her cake
this
for
is
some
totally
reason.
the first girlfriend he's ever had. He definitely gives that vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very weird scene to have, I guess. But also, kind of establishing this bond between these two characters, I guess, that we haven't been able to see, I guess, develop. She really must have really liked him saving her life. Yeah, and he's doing good at his job. He's
moved back up the world.
Yeah, he talks about what this big bust he made, bragging to this newbie, so.
Because last time we saw him, basically, he was moved into an area where it was more like you're going to be hidden here. And you'll hate it here. And a year later, he's in charge of the place.
He's in charge of the place where people are hidden and hated.
Yeah.
But it's still important work.
Yeah. And he likes it now because he's in charge. And he likes power.
He likes being in charge and in power, yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's just, I'm keen to see more of this dynamic because it's a very weird relationship.
It is.
You know?
All I know is that I pointed this out last time we talked about the show, and I just cannot turn it off every time I watch it, just because she played Yennefer. I just find it so weird. She plays this like very lively character in Yennefer, and then
in the Witcher video games.
The Witcher video game. Sorry, I should clarify. Yeah, that she voiced it. I remember pointing this out last time. She voices it, and then in this she's just dead. So weird.
Yep.
Anything else to that story really that we need to discuss? What's happening over there in the Empire side?
No, I guess Deidre's going to be in charge of getting the spider planet. Which I suspect maybe what we're going to cover in the next couple episodes. A batch of episodes. Go there.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, if we jump ahead, it's sort of, I guess, we jump ahead a year, potentially then we jump ahead a year. It's to, like, that's a year of her rebels, fake rebels, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Her plans in that action.
Andor comes in and screws it, and then she realizes Andor's on the run again, so old Cyril goes chasing after him or something. Yeah. It sounds like she's been chasing Andor for the last year or something.
She's obsessed, right?
And that's why she's in trouble.
Yeah,
because she hasn't turned anything up.
How many characters do you think die in this whole series? Like, not to jump ahead, but just like obviously we have Brasso die in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Brasso, yeah,
Brasso,
yeah, he dies in this episode. Which we'll come back to in a second. But how many of the people in this show died, do you think, by the end of it? Of characters that we just don't see in Rogue One or anything else? I'm like, surely all of them have died, or most of them.
I'd say a fair number, outside of people that we know survive, like Mon Mothma and
Deidre.
Mm-hmm.
Luthen.
Potentially.
Vel, Cinta.
Saw Gerrera. I'm pretty sure Andor's going to die.
No, in this series.
Well, they said they're going to retell the kind of up to the events of Rogue One.
Yeah, right up to the start, right? Isn't that the whole...
No, I think even during the film.
Okay.
Maybe from the perspective of the people.
Last 3 episodes is just Rogue One.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if the last 3 episodes or even the last episode is like other characters' perspectives of the last moments of Cassian's life sort of thing, just catch me bawling on my couch.
But also like them from afar, like there's a victory on the planet,
Yeah.
They get their plans out, That'd
be crazy.
Well, I guess that's technically not a victory. So.
Well, we don't need to see the plans. We see the plans in the movies, So
yeah.
I don't need to show that. So I guess the other main character story. Oh, actually, there's 2 more. Sorry. Let's go. What's happening over on Chaldera? Chaldron. Mon Mothma. Her kid's getting married. She obviously the marriage thing. Yeah, marriage thing brought up last season. She's still against it. It's going forward. It's a year later. I guess they had an engagement. Kid still sucks. Her daughter's sort of talked to. She's in full denial that she wants to be in for it. But anyway, whatever. So she's on this planet. Luthen shows up. She doesn't like that because obviously Luthen's
too close.
Too close. Don't like him being around there. We have Vel just there now that she's back with her sister, I guess. Who's it?
Aunt.
Yeah, that's the aunt. Sorry. And then I can't remember the character's name, but there's the important character in these couple episodes that implies that he's going to dib-dob if he doesn't get money, basically. And that becomes the storyline here.
Heavily implied.
Yeah. So, like, she's back and forth. You see a few conversations. Like, they talk at the start. He's like, I've got to talk to you about the thing. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, totally. We should do that later. And then he talks. He more or less implies, look,
She's
I know
oblivious
stuff.
before, like
She's oblivious the first like conversation and a half. It takes her until like
yeah.
a while to click on what he's trying to hint at, which is more or less, hey,
I
think
lost
I've
a
been
bunch of
getting
money.
fucked. Yeah.
I'm the only one who's been fucked by this situation.
Yeah. My wife just left me.
Everybody, yeah. I'm losing money. I need to
know
be
things.
compensated.
I've helped you. I've helped that Luthen guy too. I've hung around him a bit. I've been around him so much. I know so much about him. Yeah. Anyway, let's have a chat about what I need to be compensated. And that becomes sort of this back and forth little thing as I think across 3 episodes, her builds up until Mon Mothma just until
Luther's like,
we're going to do something.
We're going to do something. So,
yeah. Doesn't say what. I don't think she knows.
She's like, what was his line? How nice it must be to not know. What we
I don't think she knows exactly, but she knows something's going to happen. I assume that's why she's getting drunk. Yeah, she proceeds to just get really fucking drunk and just dance on the night away.
Yeah.
Good for her, I guess, is what I'd say.
Yeah, you know. Her mum got drunk before she got married. Now she got drunk before
she
her.
Gets drunk after. Yeah.
We'll say the scene where she's, I guess, technically giving away her daughter. Like in that room before they walk in. And she says, hey, you do not need to go through with this.
Yeah.
You know, we would all be very happy if you just said, can't.
Yeah.
Which is also on the back in the first episode. Like she comforted her because, Layla, I think her name is.
Leader?
Yeah, something like that.
No, that's how I've been hearing
it. It's hard to keep track of names
sounds
with
too
all
close
these
to
episodes.
Leia also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters.
She being very upset because he would not hold her hand.
You
know? It's like...
Yeah.
You know? You think maybe she'd come around and like slightly to Mon Mothma's thinking. But no, just cruelty straight to the heart. She's
I mean, in season 1... she's a little bitch. In season 1, the whole thing is like she's sort of like daddy's girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Always.
There is a divide between the father, the daughter, and the mother in this family. And you see that. Where,
Yeah, which I feel like is going to make it so easy for her to walk away and lead the rebellion.
Yeah, which we're definitely seeing this season, obviously.
You know,
What that moment will be?
Don't know. Hopefully soon, because the rebellion needs it to be soon.
Yeah. So I mean, look, you get those moments with the daughter, you get the moments with the husband, you get the tease, her getting drunk. Genevieve O'Reilly, I think, did a really good job at her dancing. Points for that.
Yeah.
Good job there.
All of it, like even his speech that the dad gives, it's like it's kind of dark. It's like marriage is gonna suck, but you've got to appreciate the really nice moments, the fleeting, tiny moments of joy.
Also, all these rich people in the room talking about how life kicks them in the ass. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, you've got the most extravagant.
Yeah. Here's this one rare statue that I've got for your wedding day that is from 25,000 years ago.
We all thought it was lost.
Yeah. It's
gone
a wedding
forever.
gift.
Yeah.
Anyway, life sucks. Come on. What are we doing? I think another thing I guess is pointing out is there is in the first episode, I think, Mon asks Vel if she's heard anything about her friend, which is talking about Cinta. We hear nothing about Cinta throughout the whole 3 episodes until the very end when old mate, who we know is going to die, is getting into a car / taxi, whatever we're doing.
Oh no, he fell out of the...
Yeah.
You know, he was so sad because his wife left him that he jumped. I assume will be the story.
I will say, very weird watching this in a Doctor Who world now.
You know, that's how it is now.
It's different years ago.
You film things too long between each other.
Yeah. We've got crossover. Okay. Anything else from this storyline?
I mean, the only other thing that kind of ties into the other stuff is obviously Luthen keeping track of Cassian and not hearing back, and he's sending his assistant back to the shop
Yeah,
to
so try and listen.
try and contact people and stuff, and that's where she tells Cassian the planet he's starting to live on
Home is basically
currently under a transmission block, and he can't contact his family.
Yeah, don't go
which
there.
sends him rogue. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was fun seeing like all these new traditions for this made up planet that we've never been introduced to before.
The wedding dance and all that sort of stuff was wild.
The dance and the ceremony, like the imagery of him cutting the braid off of her. And it's like no, it's a very, very weird connotations like for that whole final segment. It's like the dad gives her a knife, gives him the dude a knife, and he's like, "I will not return this." Yeah. And he's like, "Do what you want with it.
What we will."
Yeah. And
also, it's very weird. Like the sun starts in the circle, and then they all dance around. It's like, and then the sun invites
get in the circle.
Into the circle. Like, get into my world, more or less. Yes. And the rest of the family steps into their world. Yeah,
yeah. And then he cuts her hair, which you could interpret as a signifier for some other part of her body that he's going to alter.
He's going to hold her hand.
Oh, well, he does eventually when they're dancing.
He's going to hold her hand real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
no reciprocal thing from her. You know what I mean? It's like just the dude.
Would you forever hold in holy matrimony and love each other forever? Get in my circle, bitch. It's just like, yep.
Yeah.
But then they have a crazy dance afterwards with a cool DJ robot and everything, like so.
DJ robot, like,
There's ups and downs.
That's the high society dancing,
Yeah.
Which seems to be mostly just running in circles.
I'm down for it, to be honest. That looked like a party I could attend.
Yeah.
I'd go to that wedding. I hate weddings.
It's good to know there are shots in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if they were intended to be shots or if it was just Mon Mothma.
No, that was shots.
Trying to get as much alcohol in as possible.
That was shots. We've seen shots in Star Wars before. A couple bars and stuff across.
That's true. Yeah.
Just shots.
Probably in Solo and that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Just not with high Mon Mothma is not a character you expect to see doing shots, but here we are. And then, I guess the last story is Bix and Co. Hiding out on a planet's name I don't have. But it's like
it's a farming planet. It's a wheat planet.
Farming planet, wheat planet. And they're just hiding out there, which is fine. We think everything is going to be good, and it's like, why would anyone be coming there? But then we discover early in the first episode, there's rumors of the Empire coming through and just doing like a check for illegals and stuff. And it is the most on the nose and yet perfect storytelling in the episode, I think, for what's happening. Is this what you're hinting at before?
Yeah.
Like the real world analogies here are too good to let pass by. Let's just clarify. There is literally the dude at the end of the third episode is like, we know we don't have people to work these places, so we sort of rely on illegals to come do it, but yous are still illegal and the rules are clear. What? I was like, holy fuck. That is really good.
I mean, it's like, it's the same thing with the Spider Planet thing. It's like, we want to bring free power to the galaxy, but the only way to do it is by conquering this planet and taking the land away from the natural inhabitants,
Sucks
the galaxy to continue exploiting,
Yep. Literally. Yep. So I mean, there's a lot of, most of the time back and forth between them is just a build up of tension and slowly getting to have these conversations and a general pulse check of where these characters are at, I guess. Some new romances, I guess, with some new characters on the farming planet and stuff. Yeah, well, fucking Will's right.
Fucking Will and Paul Prasso.
Keep it in your pants.
Yeah. I mean, he fucked it for everybody, so.
Yeah, it's true.
He got Brasso killed.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
Yeah. Not wrong. So the first time that Bix is visited by this, I don't know what his exact position is, but
Lieutenant, I believe.
Lieutenant, yeah. Very creepy, very weird. I will say, not in my life did I ever think Star Wars would have a attempted rape scene to the point that the character is literally, a character literally says, he tried to rape me.
Yeah. This incredibly sexless franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never, I'm surprised they were allowed to do that, to be honest. I know there's like nothing that happens, but I think still just like the themes of it, or like just even it like being something that's on the table as a discussion point is not something I thought that anyone would sign off on letting them do in Star Wars. I'm not saying I have a problem with it because I think it fits the storyline perfectly for what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And fits stories that exist out there for how police and military have handled either when they're in
how they've taken advantage of situations or
America is invading another country and they've got a power dynamic, or police in charge of going like literally after quote unquote illegals and stuff. Like this is a real scenario and a real situation. And I think doing it is powerful storytelling. Do I think they could ever do it? No. Wild. Anyway, good on you, Tony Gilroy.
Yep. Also, again, blood, which we don't really see much of in Star Wars. I think we
really know.
I feel like we saw blood in something recently, but
you don't see a lot of blood. You don't see a lot of death
she
either.
smashed him with a hammer.
Yeah,
and let me tell you,
that was an intense fight.
When he stumbled out the door and then smashed his head on the box, it was very satisfying.
Yeah, it was. Then the guy's like, "You killed him," and I wanted to be like, "He killed himself." Like whose head?
He fell over.
Yeah, he hit his own head on that.
Yeah,
I wasn't even close to him. Didn't even push him. He walked out the door on his own
volition.
Yeah, and then fell over of his own volition.
Yeah.
So fuck that guy. Obviously then Andor returns because where Cassian returns, comes down, has a really, he knows how to use the ship now. So
he's been practicing for 2 days after being upside down.
Yeah, stuck upside down space. There's nowhere to go. Shoots, saw the saves today. Brasso's dead though, unfortunately. And they take off.
Yep. To find another home.
Yep.
Sadly, leave an old mate behind. The droid.
That's a good point. I did not click onto that until you just said that. BMO.
Yeah, B2 Emo.
B2 Emo.
Yeah.
He is emo. Fuck, I didn't really. Yeah. He is emo. That's
Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah. Wait.
Now it's too late.
Every episode, where is Cassian?
Cassian's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, where's Cassian? How will Cassian find me?
Yeah. That's the saddest part. At
I
least
didn't
he's got friends. Like at the start of the third episode, he's playing with all the little kids. He's like, get out of the way. They're coming. Playing.
You won't find.
Yeah.
You can't catch me. You can't catch me. You can't catch me.
So yeah. Sad. So, I guess we can't have two droids.
No. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize. I didn't click onto that. Yeah. We'll have to get him back. There's no way he stays there.
Yeah, they're going to come and raid this planet specifically to get B2 Emo back.
I hope so, because he's worth it.
Do you need that energy around Yavin for?
I believe. Yeah.
Where's Cassian?
It's a trap. It is a trap. We shouldn't do it. It's just in the background. That's the character I want to see the alternate point of view of as Rogue One's going down. Yeah. Let me follow that droid around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cassian.
See what he's saying. Cassian, no.
I'm all alone.
I'm all alone forever.
Emo music plays.
It's a donkey of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, Eeyore.
Yeah, Eeyore, yeah. yeah, I thought I had something else to say, but I forgot it. So, or it doesn't matter. But that's it. That's the 3 episodes.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think like we've overall covered everything. I'm sure if we like did do a breakdown, we should point out more small little details. But yeah, that's kind of where we were at with the release structure.
Exciting to have back on the screens for the very
But no,
small
still
time
great.
it'll last.
Still great television.
Really, really good shit.
Yeah, and next week we've got another 3 episodes to look forward to. These ones written by what's his name? Bo Willerman, who wrote the Narkina 5 episodes from last season.
Oh yeah, cool.
So looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm assuming we get to K2SO next week.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Tukes is confirmed.
Is he? Okay, cool. I was like, that has to happen sooner than later, right? Because their relationship.
If they only have one mission together, or one like
it wouldn't make sense. We know that when they talk about it, they talk about being together for years. So yeah, it makes more sense for them to show up soon.
And I think I read somewhere this is 4 years before Yavin. So
what this week or
this week? Yeah.
So next 3 episodes.
They need to find each other soon.
2, 1. Would that make sense? Yeah, that would sort of make sense.
Or 3, 2, 0.
Yeah, 1, 0. Yeah, I don't know. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Going Rogue Explosion Networks Andor discussion, where we I've been talking about 3 episodes. We'll be talking about 3 episodes each week. We're going to call it part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 to make life easier. If you've enjoyed the show, let us know. Let us know what you thought of the premiere 3 episodes. You can do that on Blue Sky at explosionnetwork.com. Check out explosionnetwork.com for all of the great things over there. Podcast and find out of the ones you like as well.
Check out what do you want to watch this week if you're listening to this when this comes out, because we talk about what happened at Star Wars Celebration.
There you go. Plug. And until next week, I don't remember what I used to say on this show.
Keep rebelling? Something like that?
Keep rebelling, I guess.